morning, and welcome to Hello Westchester here on WCHE every Monday from 11:30 to noon. I'm Eric Limbera, joined by Kara Cordoni, publisher of Hello Westchester, which releases every Friday, covers all the news and info you need to know. You can subscribe at hellowestchesterpa.com. Good morning, Kara. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing well. Good to hear from you as always. So a lot of things going on, as we do have every week here. And the first thing I wanted to discuss was Sabatino's Mobile Pizza, closed by the health department.
Yeah, so last week was our monthly restaurant inspection reports, and this kind of falls under that, but is separate because they have actually been closed by the health department. Sabatino's Mobile Pizza, they're located on Boot Road, but obviously as a food truck they move around. I know they have a pretty consistent presence over at Westchester University. This is actually a follow-up inspection report. I think we covered them last month. They were also out of compliance, but things have taken a turn for the worse over there. And after documenting a series of health violations, the health department decided to close the food truck until it could be calling it an imminent health hazard, and they were told to cease operations until that is abated. But some of the violations that really kind of set things off was there was an employee who was touching cooked eggs, beef, and a bun with bare hands. The truck had no fresh water in its tank at the time of inspection. They did find some water stored in a previously used Simple Green container. And Simple Green is an all-purpose cleaner. It is toxic and poisonous substance. The report does not say what that water was being used for. That does seem kind of a dangerous situation, seeing there was no other water available on the food truck. There was also food found stored in the cooler opening with no covering. There was other food that was left in open metal cans. There were frozen boxes of food stored directly on the dirty floor that also needed cleaning. There was a vape pen found lying on the plates, and loose medication left by the register. Obviously, these are all pretty big contamination issues. There were bags of fries stored under the grill on top of some soiled rags. There were sausage, onions, and cheese, tomato sauce that were left in the pizza prep area. These has gotten to temperatures of 55 to 56 degrees Fahrenheit. They needed to be at 41 to stop pathogen growth. And then there was evidence of food being kept on the truck overnight. This is not allowed. It's supposed to be stocked every morning. And the person in charge claimed otherwise, but the inspector noticed that there was food found uncovered, melted, and appeared to have been stored there. So she really chided the person in charge for not knowing safety protocols on this. So that is now no longer operating.
And that was a fixture, I was going to say, on the Westchester campus for a while, at least as long as I was there.
Yeah, and I talked to my social media intern, who's also a Westchester University student, and she confirmed, yes, that they're still there. Perhaps not at the moment, but they have been there this semester. So they are not allowed to resume operations until they can show they have corrected the noted violations and retrained its employees on proper food safety techniques. This is the second time they've been out this fall, as we were talking about. They were on the report last month as well. Some work to do over there. I did check this morning, and nothing has been done. They are still out of compliance at this time.
Now, going off that, as far as this month's restaurant inspection report, a pretty busy month.
It really was. We saw a dip there, and I thought, well, this is great. We're fewer violations. Well, this month it took an upturn. We had 17 institutions that were out of compliance with the Chester County Health Department, and a lot of kind of big hitters here. So Mercado Ristorante on Market Street here in the borough, they were out. They had 11 violations, including an employee touching pita bread with bare hands. There were raw meats found stored over ready-to-eat foods in the cooler, and a container of red sauce sitting on the floor. Also, the deli slicer was visibly dirty, as were the hood vents and the dishwasher racks and other parts of the kitchen. They all needed a good scrub. This was a follow-up inspection. It's actually an improvement. They had an inspection conducted on October 21st, and they had 27 violations. So they are moving in the right direction, but they are not there yet. Another restaurant out of compliance was Station 142. This is over on East Market Street. They had 14 violations. They had, including employee beverages that were open in the food prep area. Also had some raw beef stored above ready-to-eat foods. Obviously, you don't want to do that. That's a contamination issue. And they had ready-to-eat foods stored for more than a day without a date indicating when they were made. And they were pre-cooked foods were being heated in a hot holding unit. That's not what those units are designed for, so that's not allowed. And then the inside of the ice machine was visibly dirty, as were the beer taps, found to have food residue on them. So some cleaning tasks in their future.
And they're relatively new, the Station 142.
They are. Actually, there's a couple of newcomers kind of hitting up here, which surprised me a bit. This one is not new. It's one of our faves, but we skipped on Friday. Wasabi Sushi is out. They had 9 violations, including an employee who was seen leaving the facility wearing gloves and then returning to the workstation without washing his hands or changing the gloves. They also had some pork and tofu that was held above 41 degrees as required. Those were voluntarily discarded during the inspection, and a variety of cleaning tasks that they were told to clean within 24 hours. And speaking of those newcomers, La Scala's Fire was out. Real new. They had 14 violations, including raw fish stored above ready-to-eat foods in the cooler. They had some sauce squeeze bottles without labels, and open deli meats and house-made sausage. They were stored without date markings as when they were opened. And then there were also some foods found stored in rusty cans. They also had some temperature violations, not keeping things cool or hot enough, including some sushi in the some raw fish at the sushi display. So they were told to readjust that to make sure they keep it cool. And an even newer one out of compliance this month was the Board Trading Cafe. So this hasn't even opened yet. This is coming soon. Actually, I just saw their sign, a soft opening on Friday.
That was where the Blazing Jays was, right?
Yeah.
Down the street from here?
Right down the street from here, yeah. Looks like it's going to be a bagel place. We'll check into that for this week. But, yeah, they were out. They had 4 violations. But this is their second fail on their opening inspection. So, time to get those inspectors out there, or the contractors, and have them get to work.
Not a great start, and especially for a lot of the businesses, hoping that they can get back in for next month being the holidays. It's going to be a very busy time around here.
Yeah, there. But there's still more. I'm not
go for it.
I know.
Go for it.
Sabatino's Pizza and Grill was out as well. I did check this morning when I was looking at the food truck, and that location is back in, so that's good. Stetson Middle School was out. They had 3 violations, including a hand washing sink without hot water. It wasn't get hot enough. There was an ice cream freezer that was frosted and needed cleaning, and there was mouse droppings found in the mop room. So they were told to clean and sanitize the affected areas immediately. Don't like to see rodents. Also out, Oriental Pearl Restaurant, 16 violations, including an employee not washing his hands after returning from outside the kitchen again, and then touching the rice with her bare hands. Raw chicken was stored above cooked chicken. House-made sauces were found past their expiration date, and a can of Raid was found below the sink in the sushi bar. So some work to be done there as well. And another one that was big was Carlino's Specialty Food and Catering over on West Market Street. They had 15 violations. They also they had dips and dressings that were stored past their expiration dates as well. They had some from the 10/10 and 9/29 still being stored. This inspection was conducted on 10/21. Also, chicken and chicken salad in the glass was not properly cooled to prevent pathogen growth. And Caesar dressing cups were found at 56 degrees rather than 41 as required. A lot of other stuff, lunch meats, dressing, dips that didn't have date markings, and a deli slicer that needed to be cleaned. Oh, I don't know. We keep going or not. So many this month.
There are a lot. Now, I know there are also some that are back in as well, right?
Yes. So let's focus. Let's shift. If you want to read the full report, it is available in the newsletter. So we only hit some of them. There was definitely some more. So if you want to check that out, sign up, get yourself a subscription. But some good news. So while there's quite a few out, we do have a lot of restaurants in here, and some newly polished and back in compliance are Moth, Pliables, Pietro's Prime, the Remed Recovery Centers. Their dining room is back in, as is Kentucky Fried Chicken and Taco Bell, Graham's Kitchen, Rose's Little Donuts, Fusion, The Social Lounge, Henderson's Kitchen, Kuma, and Pierce Middle School. So combination of some restaurants, some schools, and some health facilities. But it's good to see people are taking action and fixing these violations, because it could be dangerous.
Yep, glad to see that they're back in compliance, and we'll see what the next month brings as well. And that takes us right to about the middle of the show here. We had a lot to get to on the other side. So let's take a break, and we'll come back with much more. You're listening to Hello Westchester. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Hello Westchester. I'm Eric Lambera, joined by Kara Cordoni, publisher of Hello Westchester, which releases every Friday. You can subscribe at hellowestchesterpa.com. So picking up where we left off before we get to the quick updates, we had an update on Westchester Area School District. They introduced their first draft of the 2026-27 calendar. What's going on here?
Yeah, so it seems early to be discussing next year's school calendar, but it's not. So this is kind of the annual email went out last week to parents and students with a preview of what the district is proposing for their next year's calendar. Unfortunately, we got a little bit of a teaser the week before as part of the Westchester Area School Board meeting, and board member Daryl Darnell kind of who's kind of the chair of the Teaching and Education and Learning Committee, which is what the calendar comes out of, had teased that they were looking at reintroducing a week-long spring break. So several years ago, we did have a week-long spring break, and then they changed that, so it's only been a few days. And now they were looking at going back and giving it a try, giving the whole week off. Unfortunately, I guess if you wanted a whole week off, when the calendar was released by Dr. Sarah Minsett and sent out, it no longer included that full week spring break. Instead, it did include a day off for Eid al-Adha. And that is just one of 9 religious holidays that the Westchester Area School District observes each year. This is part of the reason we've seen is an increase in the number of religious holidays that get observed. Last time there was a week. I don't think there was nearly as many of these holidays. Westchester Area School District observes 3 Muslim holidays a year, 3 Christian holidays a year, and 2 Jewish holidays. So 2 Jewish holidays and 1 Hindu holiday. That said, I did a little research, and while the Westchester Area School District does not track religious affiliation data from the Association of Religion Data Archives, estimates that roughly in the entire district, or the Chester County, 1% of the Chester County population is Jewish, another 1% identifies as Muslim, and 0.75% identify as Hindu. The vast majority of the population who do identify with a major religion do follow the Christian faith. In addition to all those religious holidays, there is days off for election, Thanksgiving, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Martin Luther King Day, President's Day, and Memorial Day. In total, of the 44 weeks in school, students are in school, 21 of them have at least a half day off. And there's only 1 week-long break that occurs throughout the calendar. That is at the end of the first semester from December 23rd through January 4th. And it seems that after years of increasing the number of singular days off, parents are getting frustrated. So last week there was a post on this on the Westchester Area School District Parents Chat, and a lot of frustration was voiced. One frustrated parent vented, does no one take into consideration that parents actually work? Another worried that it was hard for teachers to teach meaningful units with so many random days off. There was a feedback form that was available that closed on September 7th. The calendar still is in draft form, so I think if you have feedback, you can go ahead and send that to the district. I would say keep it coming. And there will be a meeting tonight of the Teaching, Learning, and Education Committee, and that's the one working on the calendar. So that's tonight if you would like to attend and see what's going on with that. But interesting, and a little bit of pushback coming regarding this next year's school calendar, which is very similar to this year's school calendar. But
yeah, and you made a good point in the beginning saying that it seems like it's a long time away, but they already have, I'm looking here, like registration open for next year for like kindergarten and stuff like that. So it's not too early, but it's interesting to see a lot of these singular days as far as the days off. Let's go over to the quick updates. The first one we have a few. The first one being a spree of vehicle thefts that have been reported in Westtown.
Yeah, so Westtown experienced several vehicle thefts. So it occurred in the early morning hours of November 1st. Most of the vehicles that were victimized did have their doors unlocked. So the WeGo police are reminding residents to lock their cars and when they leave, and then to make sure you either take out any valuables or store them in your trunk. Park in a well-lit area if you can, and report any suspicious thank you activity to the police. They did have a video surveillance photo, and they were seeking assistance. And speaking of that, there was a burglary reported in the 400 block of South Walnut as well. That happened last week. Again, it was the door was not locked, so it's a great community, but it's still probably wise to lock your doors when you're either going to bed or leaving the car. So just a reminder there.
It does seem to be on the uptick a little bit, and so as Kara mentioned, I have the phone number. It's 610-692-5100. So if you have any information, you're asked to call the police in that regard. Let's move next to a Kia dealership expansion in Westtown. So sticking with Westtown.
This is in West Goshen, actually.
Oh, West Goshen, yep.
But, the Kia dealership over on Westtown Road in East Neal Street is having as a conditional use hearing tonight at 6 p.m. The property owner, JAS Real Estate Holdings, is seeking to merge 3 parcels into one 4.5-acre lot in order to expand the dealership campus. They're looking at adding a new service building as well as renovating existing buildings, upgrading the parking and landscaping, as well as stormwater facilities. So that's going before the West Goshen Township tonight.
Yep, so that is 6 o'clock, and as you mentioned, that is the Kia dealership property, Westtown Road and East Neal Street. So it's going to be held at 6 o'clock. Let's move next to leaf collection underway across local townships.
Yep, so it's that time of year. Fall foliage is pretty much done. So now it's time to clean up those leaves if you have them. Westchester Borough has announced its fall leaf schedule. They have pickups scheduled. They began 2 weeks ago, but they are continuing today. Today they're going to be out in the northwest, as well as tomorrow in the northwest. So if you live in the northwest, go get your leaves out there. They will be cleaned up. Just leave them at the curb. If you don't live in the northwest and you live in the southwest, they're coming for you Wednesday and Thursday of this week. Other quadrants, the schedule is on the borough website, so check that out. There will be 4 more dates, pickup dates this year for residents. In East Bradford, they are using their regular monthly yard collection time. That's the fourth Friday of the month. Just make sure you bag your leaves and place them curbside by 5:30 a.m. on that collection day. If you miss the pickup in East Bradford, residents there can actually take their leaves to the West Bradford composting site. So it's a nice benefit for East Bradford members. West Goshen has 3 fall leaf pickups scheduled this year, starting next Saturday, and then also on December 6th. Starting this Saturday. I wrote this on Friday. And then subsequent pickups December 6th and December 20th.
Make sure to enjoy them while you can.
Yes. If you have any questions about any of it, all this is on the township website, so just go there and double check. Oh, and reminds me, I don't think I put this on our little quick updates, but we should mention while I'm in my goodbye section that Westchester area school board member Dr. Karen Herman tendered her resignation at last Monday's school board meeting. She didn't give a reason for her departure. Her term was not scheduled to end until December 2027, so she still had 2 years left on that term. I did reach out to Dr. Herman for any insight as to why she was leaving. She did not respond, but she was thanked by President Karen Fleming for her service and dedication to the Westchester community.
I appreciate that update. So let me go next to the Westchester East Marching Band state champions.
Yes. So the Westchester East Marching Band kind of is back, I guess so to say. So they have won this state championship previously. Well, we're not 100% sure. I did talk to band director Christopher Orlando, and we think last time they won was in 2003. But he's like, there's not a real accurate record, so we're not 100% sure on that. But it has happened, and it's been a little while. And they've been fighting their way back. So Mr. Orlando Christopher started about 4 years ago and given the band program there a steady hand over the last few years. And with that, they've really kind of come back, so to speak. And they started last year where they finished second in state, and then this year they went undefeated, winning every competition that they've been in, including last Saturday's state band championship at Upper Moreland High School, and then they got themselves a police escort home, and then on Saturday they competed at nationals. This took place in Allentown, conveniently enough. So hopefully they did well. I did not hear yet if they won the national championship as well, but they were going up against 10 other bands, many of them state champions in their own right. So it was going to be tough, but hopefully we have something else to celebrate next week.
And a huge accomplishment, as you mentioned, the first time since, we think, 2003.
Yeah.
And so it seems like there has been a lot of different changes and things going on over the years, as mentioned by them. But shout out to the Westchester East Marching Band.
Yeah.
And then the next update we had was ambulance subscriptions now available.
Yeah, so it's that time of year. The Good Fellowship Ambulance sends out an opportunity to sign up for ambulance subscriptions. And last week, Good Fellowship Ambulance Executive Director Chaz Brogan kind of wrote into to us and kind of gave us a little perspective on what the ambulance subscription program is and why it's necessary and how it can help. And it really has a lot to do with the rising costs of ambulance transport. If you need a ride in an ambulance, if you get treatment at a scene without transport, that can cost you $100 to $350. If you have to go in the ambulance, that same ride can cost you from $1,000 to $2,600. A lot of times that is not being covered by insurance. Has to do with the way the EMS Systems Act was written, and this was written in 1973, and the idea was really, I guess, to help emergency medical services, but it defined them as transportation, not healthcare. So all insurance usually covers is the ride. It does not cover any care you would receive during that ride, so it's kind of this little loophole, and which leaves out that care, and it's not covered either way, and so that's why the ambulance rides cost so much. You can get around that by purchasing an ambulance subscription through Good Fellowship, and that's a one-time payment, and then after that you will be charged nothing. Doesn't matter if your insurance covers or not. So they're encouraging people to participate if they can.
And it does seem to be, as you pointed out, a win-win for both residents and the ambulance company as well.
Yes, it does help them as well.
So that's what we had on the quick update front. Let me go next to, we had a few moments left, to some of the events looking ahead to.
Yes, so we have some things happening this week. So tomorrow, there is a silent book club meeting. It's taking place at Turk's Head Winery. This is a new club, started recently, and the idea here is that you bring your book and you read for an hour. So there is no signed reading, there's no books, it's just a reading club, really. But there is a little time for socialization and interaction before and after. This one's happening at the Turk's Head Winery, so a good excuse for a glass of wine. The quiet reading is from 5 to 6, but you can get there at 4:30, order a glass, chat with some members, discuss books you are reading, and, it's a great way to get recommendations on new books and things like that. So it's a free club, and it's open to the public, and if you want to check it out, that's tomorrow night at 4:30. Also happening this week is the Ladies' Dance Party over at the Westchester Golf and Country Club. This is taking place on Wednesday from 6 to 9 p.m. Come out and dance the evening away, and this is in support of the Community Warehouse Project. Tickets are $125, and that includes a buffet dinner, open bar, and unlimited dancing, and proceeds from this event go to support a good cause. And then, starting on Friday, the Westchester Opera is doing its fall performance. It's called Three Feathers. This is taking place at Emil Asplund Concert Hall. Performances are at 7:30 on Friday, 3 p.m. on Saturday. I'm told this is a family-friendly event. I don't have the ticket prices in front of me, but I believe there is either a discount or kids might even be free. So if you're interested in that and you want to get your child out to see an opera, something new, this might be a good opportunity to do that. So go to the Westchester University website, check out that performance, and kind of look at the details if you're interested.
And they always have a lot going on at the Aspen Concert Hall. I've been there for some performances myself, and some good events there. And then one more, I know we're coming up on time, and I wanted to point out, was the Take What You Need Fair at Safe Harbor. That is 1 to 4 on the 16th.
Yes, a free community event, and they're offering food, clothing, and household items. So if you're free, go check it out.
Make sure to check it out, and light refreshments provided as well. So that takes us to the end of the show. Kara, I appreciate your time as always. Listeners, you can check out the podcast at 953wche.com, as well as the newsletter, hellowestchesterpa.com. Thank you all for listening. We'll talk to you next week.